This is the Math 2 Unit 3 test review. If I go too fast, just pause the video so you have more time to write. You can always go back and rewatch whatever examples you need. Number 1, a rectangle has a length of x inches and a width 3 inches less than the length. If the area of a rectangle is 18 square inches, what is the length and the width? Always good to draw a picture on these. Tells you the length is x. And the width is 3 inches less than the length. So that would be x minus 3. If the area is 18, what is the length and the width? So area means to multiply. So x times x minus 3 is going to equal 18. You could put this in Desmos. So you could do y equals x minus 3. And you could put in y equals 18 and see where they cross. But I am going to work it out by hand. So I'm going to distribute. So that gives me x squared minus 3x equals 18. Move the 18 over. So that gives you x squared minus 3x minus 18. And then I'm going to factor that. Two things that multiply to give you negative 18 and add to give you negative 3 are negative 6 and positive 3. Set those both equal to 0, x equals 6, x equals negative 3. You cannot have a length that's negative. So 6 is your length, and your width is 3 less than that, which would mean the width is 3. If the dimensions were doubled, what would be the area of the new rectangle in terms of x? So here are your dimensions. If you double those, this becomes 2x. And this becomes 2x minus 6 if you double it. And again, they want the area, so you're going to multiply 2x times 2x minus 6 and distribute. That gives you 4x squared minus 12x. So that would be the area of the rectangle in terms of x. Number 2, which quadratic functions has roots -1 plus or minus square root of 5? So looks like with the plus or minus, I want to do the quadratic formula. So opposite of b, plus or minus square root, I can go ahead and stop right there because I have a positive 2. Even if that reduces, it would not reduce to -1. So A is not the answer. B, opposite of b would be -2 plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So that'd be -2 plus or minus 2 squared is 4 minus 16 gives me -12 over 2. That cannot be the answer because if there's a negative under the square root, you would pop out an I, and there's no I in there. We know it's not C for the same reason as A. There's a -2, so if you did the opposite of that, it'd be 2 plus or minus, which would not reduce to -1. So the answer is D. Number 3, if the dimensions of a box are 2x minus 3, x minus 2, and x plus 1, what is the expression for the volume? Volume of a box is length times width times height. So you have 2x minus 3, x minus 2, and x plus 1. So I'm going to multiply the first two. 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times -2 is -4x. -3 times x is -3x. And -3 times -2 is +6. And combine like terms, that gives me 2x squared minus 7x plus 6. And I still have to multiply it by x plus 1. So I'm going to distribute the x to everything. So x times 2x squared is 2x cubed. X times -7x is -7x squared. X times 6 is 6x. Then I'm going to multiply everything by +1. So 2x squared, -7x, and +6. And I'm going to combine like terms. So 2x cubed, there's nothing to put with that, drop it down. -7x squared and +2x squared gives you -5x squared. 6x minus 7x, that's a +6 minus 7 gives you -x, and drop down your +6. So that is your answer. Number 4 says to solve. So I'm going to draw my line, and I'm going to isolate x. first thing you need to do is get rid of the square. So you're going to square root both sides. So the square root and the square cancel. So I'm left with x minus 1/3 equals plus or minus. Square root of 49 is 7. Square root of 9 is 3. And then you need to, instead of subtracting 1/3, you need to add 1/3. So if I do positive 7/3 plus 1/3, I get 8/3. If I do negative 7/3 plus 1/3, I get negative 6/3, which is negative 2. So 8/3 and negative 2 are your two answers. Number 5, if 8x squared plus 16x equals 42 is rewritten as ax minus p squared plus q equals 0, what is q? So this is vertex form. So that's what I need to complete the square. To go from standard to vertex, you're going to complete the square. First thing I do is move over the 42, so it becomes negative 42. Then you group the first two, and you have to pull out the 8. So you're left with x squared plus 2x. 16 divided by 8 is 2. Then you do plus a blank, minus 42 minus a blank. To get the number that goes in the blank, you take half of b and square it. So half of 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. To get the number that goes in this blank, you have to multiply 8 times 1, which is 8. The question was asking for q. Q is the number outside of the parentheses. So you need to put these two together, which gives you negative 50. So your answer is negative 50. Number 6, solve the following system. So this one is linear and this one is quadratic. So the way we do that is we just graph them in Desmos and find their intersections. So you have 3x minus 5y equals 9. And y plus 6x squared minus 48 equals negative 12x. And they intersect at 2 points. Negative 4.116, comma negative 4.27, and 2.016, negative 0.59. All right, number 7, simplify 5 square root of 7 squared. Notice that the square only goes with what's in parentheses, which is the square root of 7. So the square root and the square cancel, so you're left with 5 times 7, which is just 35. Number 8, find the distance between negative 2, 3 and 4, negative 3. Give your answer in simplest radicalist form. I'm going to use the distance formula, but if you don't know this formula, you can always graph these and then do the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. This is the distance formula. So my x values are negative 2 and 4, and my y values are 3 and negative 3. Negative 2 minus 4 is negative 6 squared. 3, those turn into a plus, so that's also 6 squared. So I get 36 plus 36, which is the square root of 72, but I have to put it in simplest radicalist form. Well, I know that 72 is 36 times 2, and 36 is a perfect square. The square root of 36 is 6, and 2 stays inside the square root, so your answer is 6 square root 2. Number 9, Fahad wants to build a vegetable garden such that the 3 sides of the garden are fenced, and the 4th side of the garden will be the existing back fence. He has 30 feet of fencing available. Find the dimensions of the garden that will produce the maximum enclosed area. So we're looking for the maximum area. All right, so let's start by drawing a picture. 3 sides of the garden are fenced, and the 4th side will be the existing back fence. So we don't have to put any new fencing up here. I'm going to call this and this X because those are the same. He has 30 feet of fencing available. Well, how much will he use on this side? Well, he's already used X and X, so that's 2X. So however much he has, if you take away these 2 X's, that's how much will be used for this side. All right, because we want to make the maximum area. We want to use all the fence he has. So this XX, 30 minus 2x. The maximum area, remember that area is length times width. So x times 30 minus 2x. And we're trying to find the maximum of that. So I'm going to put that in Desmos and find the maximum. So I zoom. All right, your maximum, your x value is 7.5. And the 112.5 represents the max area. So the max area is 112.5. So let's go back and read what the question was asking. The question says find the dimensions. Find the dimensions. So the dimensions, whenever it's asking for the dimensions, that is the width and the length. So the width is 7.5. And you know the length is going to be 30 minus 2 times 7.5. Well, 2 times 7.5 is 15. 30 minus 15 is 15. So the length is 15. So it's going to be a 7.5 by 15 foot fence. That is your answer.